YouTube? Welcome back to another video. And today is honestly a bit of a different video that I'm gonna make, and it's honestly gonna talk more about how to build self confidence, as the title says, and why it's important in trading. So the main thing about self confidence, right? It can range from a lot of things. So you're either self confident about how you look, how you sound, uh, your ability to do something, and just overall your belief within yourself to be able to do something, or just even to be able to appreciate who you are and what you are, and how you present yourself as a person. And why that's important for trading is that I've noticed a lot about, even with myself, when it comes to um, hesitating on entries, is that underlyingly the root cause of my hesitation when it comes to me entering a trade is honestly due to the fact that I'm really not self-confident within myself. And this issue that I've been facing has honestly plagued my trading for such a long time. And it's so funny because it's a mixture of ego and the lack of self-confidence that I used to have. They would always clash amongst each other, and it would honestly really fuck my performance up. And I want to talk about how I've built that confidence within myself to be able to take better trades. And I know, yeah, I blew my account a couple days ago, but even before that, when I was passing my accounts, there were steps and ways that I built my confidence outside of trading that actually affected my trading, right? So I'm going to break down the issues that I faced and how I fixed them and how they're connected to self confidence issues. So, especially when I was new to trading, I realized that I would hesitate a lot on a lot of my A plus setups just because I was so unsure. I was so unsure about myself, and I was so unsure about whether or not my trade was going to hit TP or my stop loss. And a good chunk of that self confidence issues actually came from within myself. I really didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like my weight. I was a little bit tubby at the time. I didn't really feel good about myself because of what I went through with my ex girlfriend. There was disloyalty in the relationship, which made me really question myself as a man. So there were a lot of reasons as to why I felt so insecure and so um, not unconfident within myself. I don't know if that's a word, but we're just gonna roll with it. So there was a lot of reasons as to why I never felt confident within myself, right? I used to be a very outgoing and outspoken type of person, especially in the times where I was confident. And I noticed that there were a lot of factors as to why these issues just prevailed out of nowhere. Well, for one, I stopped going to the gym. I got a girlfriend, and I got so comfortable with the way I looked, with who I am, that I kind of stopped putting in effort to better myself every single day. When my ex girlfriend cheated on me, I decided to stay, but the entire time, I would always think that someone out there is better than me that could replace me at any given moment, so therefore I have to win at all costs. I have to prove my worth at all costs, and I didn't really believe that I had any self worth after that. So that really affected my trading a lot. And, fast forward a few months now, after we've broken up and after I've actually started to work on myself, I find that I'm a lot more confident on the charts and even posting on YouTube, right? I know I started this whole thing out of accountability for myself. However, I honestly enjoy making these videos. I know there's only a handful of people that watch my videos, but I love it. I love it. I used to hate cameras on me. I used to hate people looking at me, but this is the time of my life where everything's like just hit a switch where I want people to know me, not for the fame, not for the glory. I just want people to be able to recognize, like, hey, this guy's trying his very best. I'm going to follow that journey, and hopefully I can inspire some of you guys to continuously try with your trading journey, or even get started on trading if you've never traded before, or even take, initiative to fix your self-confidence issues, right? Um, there's a few key things that I want to talk about on what you could do to build your confidence. And one of those things is, first of all, is the most important and easiest one to name is actually going to the gym, right? So unless you're a top 10 or top 1% male who's just absolutely fucking jacked and diced, you should be going to the gym. And even then, if you're a top 1% male, you're obviously hitting the gym consistently, right? There is a strong correlation between those who go to the gym consistently on a regular basis, who try their very best every single day, in comparison to the people who just don't and they laze around at home. No, I'm not saying that, you should be ashamed of yourself for not going to the gym, or being fat, or not being at the body, or having the body you want, but I'm just saying there is an ability towards actually finding out what you're capable of doing for yourself, how you would look, and all these kinds of things, right? There is some sort of nobility to that. And the reason why it ties into trading is because the more confident of a person you are, the more you ooze pure confidence out of yourself, just like this aura, this presence, where you're not afraid to talk to people, you're not afraid to smile, you're not afraid to go up to a person and say hi, even if you're talking to a female and you're not trying to, how do I say, like, bagger, you're not trying to clap cheeks. You're just trying to talk to them just for the experience and for the fact that you want to go out there and put yourself out there. Well, that's all linked to your inner self-confidence, right? You don't have to be the best looking guy in the room to be the most confident. You don't have to be the most successful guy in the room to be the most confident man in the room. It's all in your head. It's what you tell yourself, right? It's what you believe in yourself. Now, if you can't bring yourself to the point where you're confident within yourself, well, that's probably because you have nothing to be confident about yourself at, right? You don't trust your model. You're not confident with your model. Well, that's probably because you don't backtest the model. You're not confident, in taking a win or a loss. Well, that's because you tie all of your worth to the charts. You stay in a shitty relationship because you've convinced yourself you don't deserve better and you can't do better. Or you say, oh, I love this girl, Mark. I don't think I could ever find somebody like her. Trust me, I was in the same boat a few months ago, and I don't believe that now. I know that now. I've worked on myself. I've started hitting the gym. I started getting back to my old hobbies like MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu. I train them time and time, or I'm sorry, I train them here and there nowadays. Compared to when I stopped altogether. I started talking to people more. I went out and I talked to women, and without any intention behind it, but just to talk and put myself out there and just say, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Mark. At first, I was so afraid. I was so afraid to even go to the gym because I was so fit at one point that I told myself that, oh, the people who saw me at the gym will now see the worst version of myself, and I'll be made fun of. They'll have all these opinions in my head, or in their head. But I realized, I have to force myself to believe in myself, to be so confident within myself that not anybody's opinions about me matter, right? That was the first step, was to convince myself that today is the day for me to change and to actually believe in myself, to actually give myself that worth. Because, fellas, the metric of self-worth is in the term self-worth. You dictate how much you mean, and therefore, if you don't mean a lot to yourself, you're not going to be confident within yourself. You're going to suck at trading. I haven't been the most perfect, but I've been very confident. The reason why I've been on win streaks, the reason why I've even taken payouts is because of the fact that I built that confidence within myself. Now, I don't suffer from, insecurity now on the charts that I can't make, the loss that I took yesterday back. Now it's just an opposite issue where I have too much of an ego to think that I can actually make it back every single time, right? Because I've just bumped it up too much. But do you see how there's a correlation between being confident within yourself, doing the things that you know are hard, right? Doing the things that you know are going to be embarrassing, and the correlation to how well you can actually trade, how well you can actually follow your model, how well you can actually take a loss. It's all dependent on how much faith and confidence you have in yourself and in your strategy. Those are the two things that'll really affect your trading, right? Because I could give you a 99% win rate model. Again, not that I have that. And again, somehow you'll still fuck it up because you're not confident within yourself. You'll see an A plus setup, and 9 times out of 10, you'll take it. But what about that 1%? Or what about that 1 times out of 10? And slowly but surely, you take those losses and you start to lose confidence and you start to lose momentum. And once you start to lose momentum, that's when the accounts start being blown over and over and over and over and over again. And there's a lot of obviously psychological factors that are tethered to how well you actually trade. But what I've noticed is what's actually helped me a lot too is not only have I been dropping my ego, but I've been increasing my self-confidence. And I know those two sound conflicting, but if you think about it this way, where ego is what doesn't ground you into your reality, into what you've actually put yourself at, and the work that you've grinded for, compared to self-confidence, which is the inner belief in yourself and your abilities because of everything you've ever put in to have that belief, right? You know, it's the same thing for hitting a bench PR. It's the same thing for hitting a faster mile time. You have to believe in yourself. When you're underneath the bar and you're going to hit 315 for the first time, you're not going to tell yourself, "Oh, I don't know if I could do this." Because with the fact that you've already killed your mentality, you've already destroyed your self-confidence, you're already insecure. The moment you got underneath the bar, that shit's gonna crush you. But if you get underneath that bar and you tell yourself, "I'm going to bend this shit in half. I'm going to bend this 315 over and fuck it," you're gonna skyrocket. That shit's gonna rocket, like it's just gonna fucking blow off your chest. I'm sorry, I turned a little stupid there for a second. But anyways, when you have inner belief in a really deep-rooted, positive, overwhelming, oozing self-confidence, then you'll start to see such a big difference in your trading. And that's the video that I wanted to make, and that's the topic I wanted to talk to you guys about, which is build self-confidence, right? Again, you can't do things overnight. It's a process, right? Especially with trading too. With anything in life, it's consistency. You can't just hit the gym once. You can't just go out there and hang out, with your friends and talk to different people, regardless of the situation one time and think that, hey, I'm 10 times more confident than before. No, you're still going to be a train wreck the first time. But the fact that you're going to be consistently working at this for days, weeks, and months, I promise you that hesitation part of you, the part of you that goes, "Oh, well, I don't really know if this is going to work out," is going to disappear. It's going to disappear. And now I'm not saying that you're going to continuously, take bolder and dumber trades, but if you pair that with proper execution, the mastery of your strategy, and an oozing level of self-confidence, and a disciplined mind, well, that's all you're going to need. I know this because I've been to that point and I've lost it. I started blowing a bunch of accounts because of the fact that I lost confidence within myself. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with what I looked like. I wasn't happy at all. I honestly called myself a bitch every single day because I was so insecure. But past couple months, I've been working my ass off. Been at the gym a lot. I'm eating clean. I'm not really getting fucked up as often. I'm going out there and I'm putting myself in awkward situations. I'm talking to random people, even if it's at a bus stop, even if it's at the library, even if it's at the gym. You need to build that inner self-confidence within yourself to see any room of improvement for trading as well. Look at every single trading mentor you have. It's their self-confidence within their ability to be able to do something, and their sureness within themselves makes it look like they're delusional to the average person. It's really not delusion. It's the fact that they built themselves up to this point to fully believe in themselves, right? You'll never see, besides a handful of people, Shinobi, you'll never see a trader that isn't disciplined, that isn't going to the gym, that isn't confident, that isn't outgoing within themselves. You won't see that. Why? Because you have to be this type of person in order for you to succeed. And like I said, guys, I'm still on the track to be doing that, but I'm so confident within myself that I will actually do this, that I'm not worried even if I blow an account. That I'm not worried that if I even take a loss. But again, you have to pair it with discipline and obviously sticking to your strategy and especially your rules. That's the one thing I'm still working on, so give me some time. But I guarantee you, next week, Monday come, well, not next week, this coming Monday, Monday come, I'm going to actually follow my rules. Because I've realized, like, I'm confident in my strategy. I backtest all the time and I get a pretty high fucking win rate. I'm not going to ego this shit anymore. I'm not going to be so insecure and thinking, well, if I don't pass this combine, within a week, well, then I'll lose all this time to make money. It doesn't fucking work that way. I'm going to take what I get. Whatever I win or lose on the charts on that day, so fucking well. Win or lose. I'm not happy regardless, win or lose. Winning and losing in trading is actually so fucking boring to me. And that's why I'm so impatient half of the time. But again, obviously I have to dial it back down. The hell? My cat. But I'm dialing it back down. But guys, I hope you learned a thing or two about today's video, about how you should build your self-confidence. Again, guys, baseline is do something you're uncomfortable doing. Every single day. I'm serious, every single day. And once you become that man or woman who can do something difficult every single day, improve themselves every single day, in every metric and aspect of their life, I promise you, your hesitation on trading, all these thoughts are going to quiet down. Because that's just what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm recording this at 11:07. I'm not going to be trading tomorrow. Again, like I said, I'm really following this self-imposed rule on Monday. But I will be probably going to a bar tonight. So I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I don't have classes tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend too. See you guys in the next video next week, Monday, and peace.